Hi, my name is Landon and welcome back to A Week in the Life of me, Landon. And so to start off, on Monday, it was the first day back from school, back from spring break, and so it was the first day back to school, and so I got to see my friends, talk to them about like what they did over spring break, and that was a lot of fun. And nothing else really happened that day except for during passing period, in between sixth period and seventh period, I got called down to the guidance office because we had it's kind of they called it an academic luncheon, and so if you're in the top 20 of your class, what they did is they took you to the Honeywell Center, and you got a lunch, and then three people talked to us who went up stage and kind of had a little Q&A session. Um, but the issue was it was on Thursday at 11:30. On Thursday at 11:30, I had it's called the Alex Math Skills Assessment Quit Test. It's for IUK, which is where I'll be going to college. And it's to see what math class that you are proficient in and where you should be placed, basically. Um, so after school, I had to call IUK to see if I could reschedule it. Luckily enough, I was able to reschedule it for Tuesday. So that cleared up my day on Thursday, so I was able to go to the luncheon. Then on Tuesday, I woke up and because my new test was at 11:30 again, so instead of going to school in the morning, I kind of stayed home, and then I went up to Kokomo. I left the house I think at about 9:40 ish, and from there I went up to Kokomo. I had to sit in the parking lot for a little bit because I got there earlier than anticipated. So I sat and I waited, and eventually, I went in and had to wait a little bit more before going to take the test. And so finally, I got to take the test. I also found out that the test I did, the math assessment skills test, really doesn't matter for me because I do a lot of dual credit and AP classes, and one of the ones I'm doing is pre-calc and trigonometry. And so those classes, because they're dual credit, I'll be moving on from that class. So I'll be going into calculus, I think, if I have to take any math classes. Um, so I found out that the test I did really didn't mean anything. So that was, I don't want to say annoying because I got out of school, but it was a little annoying because I drove, up to Kokomo and whatnot, but it's whatever. Then I actually did go back to school for seventh period only because because I had a test for Spanish, and then afterwards I went out to Urbana to do some work for my stepdad's company. We do mowing and lawn care, and so I went out there, had to do a yard cleanup. Then from there, I came home and worked on homework. Then Wednesday, um, nothing really happened on Wednesday. Wednesday was pretty uneventful. Uh, then same thing with Thursday. We got to school. I went to first, second, and third period, and afterwards I went to the office and we went to the Honeywell Center and do the academic luncheon. I got to sit with a couple people I knew from Northfield, so it wasn't too bad. And the lunch itself was all right. It was I mean nothing to write home about. Uh, but then we had a Q&A with three people, and it was a pretty informative. It was good. Afterwards, we got back to the school and I think it was like halfway through sixth period, but the school went out and they got everyone who went Frosties, so that was pretty cool. So we got to go outside and eat them and not get a sixth period. Um, I then went to seventh period, Spanish again. So that wasn't too bad. Then on Friday, got to school and was kind of do the normal thing, just boring and uneventful. And then, but on seventh period for Spanish, Korea wasn't at school. I don't know what was going on, so we ended up going to the library to, I guess, being there for the period. So that was fun. This week we did start working on our new speech that we're doing in our speech class, the class I'm actually doing these videos for. It's an informative speech, and so I'm doing mine over uh, the four different rifles used throughout the U.S. military's history, and it's the 1903 Springfield for World War One, the shoot, I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's kind of a little awkward, but the M16 for Vietnam, and then the M4, which is what's currently being used. And so I finished the outline, and I think I'm gonna. I've been practicing, and so I think I'm gonna make a little like a speaker outline to maybe help me out practicing wise. And I also have to make a presentation, which I'll probably end up doing after this. Um, then Friday night, I worked a little bit. We mowed a couple yards, and then I went out to North Manchester to hang out with my friends. We played D&D, and Eli, one of my friends, his brother Ryan, who we don't get to really see a whole lot. It was actually the second time I've ever seen him, but he was able to come and hang out, and that was a lot of fun because Ryan's a pretty cool guy. We actually went to the elementary school in Manchester, I think, because they have a Gaga pit. And so we got a whole bunch of us. We played Gaga, and then we played kickball, and so that was a lot of fun. Then afterwards, we went back to Cameron's house, and we played Magic and D&D. Then I got home at like 3-ish. I woke up, and I went over to my friend Daytona. Well, first I had to go to Walmart to get a battery for my key fob because it was either dead or very close to dead, and my car would every time I'd hit the lock button, it would just like put into like panic mode because it couldn't make like a complete signal. So I replaced the battery and it fixed the issue. And then I went and I hung out with my friend Daytona. We went out to his mom's camper at Woody's, and I think we were there the entire. We got there at like 11:30 ish, 12, and we didn't end up leaving till I think like 8 or 9. And I hung out at his house for a couple hours, and we hung out, so that was a lot of fun. And then today, being Sunday, I went to church this morning, and Pastor Solomon was there, and he gave a sermon over, the prodigal son again, which is the guy who basically wished for his dad to be dead so he could get his inheritance. He went over that, but he kind of looked at it in a different light than the one preacher that kind of stood in for him, who gave the same actual story. Looked at it in for a different light and kind of showed us how it wasn't like so much. Well, I don't want to say that, but it was basically how we need, like, it's a way of being free. The way to be free in the eyes of God is basically to come to your senses, and because it's not really a battle of like the chains are actually on you, but so much of a battle of the minds. So it was a really good sermon. I enjoyed it, and today I'll be finishing up that outline. I'll probably either work on or finish up that the speaking outline. I'll probably start working on that slideshow for the present, for my speech, and I have to do a 2 response post for econ. So, thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.